Imagine that your rights are equal to that of a farm animal, and your future isn't looking any better.
You mean working for Walmart? Because they have 401k plans now.
We're talking about gender equality and inequality. So, if you feel like you're ready, or if you feel like you're not ready, doesn't matter, because here we go.
Go!
What up, y'all? Welcome back to the Dumb Podcast. I am Don Dario.
And I'm Alex Souza.
We've got a good one today, folks, because today we are sharing what we know about comedy and respect, which is not a lot.
No, I never get no respect. I never get no respect at all. Okay. All right, baby. Okay. We're also going to welcome a special guest today and get their unique perspective on gender equality.
And of course, we're going to be ending it with a little jiggity joke session. So kick back, chillax, and enjoy. The Haha Hack is where we share our experiences of doing stand-up comedy while we're all in the trenches together.
Now, we may not be professionals yet, but there are things we definitely have learned and we'd like to share with everyone.
Yep. Today, we're going to be talking about RESPECT. Tell me what it means to me. That's right, folks. We're going to be talking about respect. All right. Today, we actually have a special guest. So everybody put your hands together for Liz Frisius.
Yeah!
Welcome, Liz. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Liz is a local comedian here in the city of Phoenix and all the local areas around. She travels everywhere. You've been everywhere in the States as well, right? Doing some comedy here and there.
All over the place.
I love it.
Nice, nice. Yep, I met Liz again at the Tempe Improv. Seems like I meet everybody there.
That's weird.
Yeah, but she came up and wanted to get some. Was it the tickets that you wanted for the new faces,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So we met and got to talking. It was about 30, 45 minutes just sitting there talking for, it was a long time. I don't know if it was that long. It seemed longer. I don't know. It was great. It was great to meet you. It's nice to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
The first time I met Liz, we did the Roast of Arizona Lou. And I remember sitting and I watched her set and you gave your jacket to Lou. And I'm sitting there and I'm choking up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope she washed it. That was my thought.
That was a very nice gesture, Liz. Does he still have it? Does he wear it?
He still has it, as far as I know.
Nice. It's probably his only blanket.
And yes, the vest was washed.
Oh, thank God.
In fact, I think I told him it was washed when I handed it to him.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind either way.
Can you imagine what it smells like now?
No, I can't, and I don't want to.
No. Well, Liz, welcome. Today on the Haha Hack, we're going to be talking about respect. And I guess I'll start it off. And what we mean about respect is there are a bunch of different things that you can have respect for. One would be respect the trade. All right. Don't steal from people. And, you know, when you're out there, things you might think that you didn't hear it or you heard it, really, you know, focus on, are you doing something bad or not? You know, do you feel guilty? Then if you feel guilty, then don't do it. You know, a lot of people think they don't steal because it's similar. But you have to be very, very careful with that. I think we all have to be very careful with that. I think I felt that there are a lot of jokes that I've done I don't know, that sound like other people's jokes. So I have to slow down and really analyze it, you know?
They probably were my jokes.
Not saying anything. Yeah, don't interfere, with other people's sets. Some people will go out to open mics and just sit there and cause problems, comedian after comedian, and it's just to build themselves up, to push people down to build themselves up. So I think you can do better than that. Liz, you have anything you want to add there to about respect in the clubs?
Respect the mic, respect your host. Basically, show up on time, dress appropriately, don't heckle other comics, work on your own craft, and treat each other with courtesy. It's not a meat market to go date other comics. It's not an opportunity to be the jackass. You're not there to act like you're cleverer than everybody else. Be funny. Your gift is to your audience. So bring everything that you have, your humor, your insight. Your focus should be on your audience, not on yourself.
Good. Yeah, that's good. That's a very good point. Respect the event, whether if it's a club, a bar, some event put somewhere, respect that time. A lot of people won't let you back if you go past that time. Good point. Alex, you have anything?
Yeah, I think, I've been to many an open mic where I hear it's, especially the ones lately where, crowd size is what it is. And a majority of the time it's just comics that go to open mics. And these comics are heckling what are you doing? You're not respecting the performer, and everybody's there, they're working on their 5, or they're trying to see where laughs are to try to structure jokes and whatnot. And then these jackasses, for lack of a better word, are just there to try to ruin it. And
hi, Alex.
I know I had to say it, but it's true. It's true. And I've seen it happen to people that I care about, and I really want to listen to their set and, evaluate from there. But it's just, they ruin it for everybody.
Yeah. Definitely. I think another thing we need to think about is, as far as respect goes, is respect yourself. A lot of times comedians will go up with this idea of, I'm maybe a clean comic, and that's how I want to do it. Do it, but don't sell yourself out on stage and start cussing because the rest of the show is cussing. Respect yourself, and also know your value. You're a beginning comic. If people are inviting you to be on a show, then, respect that. And you may not get paid for it, but if they're asking you to do this show and this show and that show and just constantly, taking you out of maybe making money somewhere else, if they have you do 2 shows back to back, you may want to ask for, I don't know, something, but also know where you're at. If you're not bringing laughs in, then I wouldn't be asking for anything. Liz, what do you think?
Well, the business of comedy is business. And so if you're asking for something, there's plenty. Don't let your ego get in the way of your ability. Be honest with yourself. Can you get the laughs? Are you bringing the people into the club? Do they want to see you? Are you building your skill set? If you're not, if you can't do that, then you're probably not at a level to be getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point. You got anything, Alex?
No, I want to hear Liz say some more stuff. You're just so eloquent.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I know. You're going to have Alex start using his big words around this.
I cussed once, and I never cuss. So that's the type of episode it's going to be. Yeah.
We thank you for all your support here at the Dumb Podcast. Now we want to hear from you. So if you have any jokes you want to hear on air, send them to us, and we'll make sure you're on the next episode. Also, if you just like to say hi or give us your feedback, we'd love to hear it. You can reach us by email at thedumbpodcast@gmail.com. That's TheDumpodcast podcast@gmail.com, or by phone at 602-935-7307. You've got 3 minutes. Now let's hear it. This week, the topic is going to be equality and inequality, and basically how sometimes, we can kind of push equality so hard that it becomes inequality, right? We had Liz on today because our first conversation that we started off, that how we got to know each other, was about this, and she had such a great perspective, and it just went back and forth. And I think with everything that's happening right now with the Me Too movement, the women's movements, I think there's a lot of strong women paving the way for young women, and that includes my kids, that includes my 2 daughters, out there trying to do the best that they can. And I appreciate those women. I got to give major props. I mean, my mom is the person that I look up to as far as my entrepreneurial inspiration. She's the one that just started working. She opened her own business, and just seeing her push through pushing uphill all the time. It seemed like she was always doing things a lot harder, but because it wasn't opened up for her. But I just want to say that she's the one that actually drives me to do better and to keep trying to make it on my own. So Alex, you have anything?
I think I look up to, I really value people, and I hold in a high regard people who serve, especially. Liz, thank you.
Thank you
so much for your service. I do appreciate that. And I mean, when I come into contact with people who wear the war caps, and you're not there yet, you got about 30 more years before you start wearing those. But I mean, I always go out of my way to thank them for their service. And sometimes I think, I wish it wasn't like this, but I think the women, I mean, I have more in my heart for women who serve, just because growing up and watching movies and TV shows, it was always like a male dominated, and this goes back years and years and years. I mean, women couldn't serve for however long, and then finally they get the opportunity to. So there's just something in my heart that values service women, that holds them in a higher regard. And now, granted, I still appreciate the service of men too, but for a woman to go out and prove that they are just as handy and as capable as men, especially in something like serving your country, I really do look up to those people. And again, I do thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Yeah, Liz, give us a little backstory. So, where did you come from? What were you doing before comedy?
Well, in a nutshell, I grew up in the Navy. I trained with the Army, and I spent just under 30 years in the Air Force and retired. And after 30 years of killing and bombing, well, there's only one job I was good for, and you're looking at it.
That's awesome. So when did you start comedy, and why did you want to start?
Well, I loved comedy since I was a little kid. I actually grew up with watching a lot of the old vaudevillians, and George Burns, Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello, Mom's Mabley, the records that I used to listen to, Baby Schnooks and Daddy, Amos and Andy, just things that you would watch and listen to. The comedy obviously has shifted over time with what's appropriate in society. And so you will see trends in comedy pressing on. Some of the things that were said back in the 1920s, you cannot say on stage today. George Carlin has a whole new act if he was trying to do that. Right. Things you cannot say on the air now that you could say back then. It's interesting to watch the shifts in that. I was actually out in Washington, D.C. I was working at the Pentagon, and my husband took me out to a comedy show. And we'd been going to comedy for years. And it was an improv show. It was the Comedy Stop, was the name of the place. And I got pulled up on stage. And at the start of the show, they said, we asked for your input. We don't drag people on stage. We're not that type of a show. 15 minutes into the show, they dragged me on stage and kept me there the rest of the show.
Oh.
And I did one other open mic at the time at Politics and Prose, which is a bookstore out in Washington, D.C., and rapidly realized that there are certain things that are not appropriate when you're an active duty military member working in the Pentagon that I probably shouldn't be saying on stage at the time. And so I set my comedy to the side. When I was approaching retirement, and I was in the Pentagon, and one of the ladies they actually do send us to class. They have to teach us how to be civilians. And she asked me, she says, well, what are you going to be when you grow up? I said, I'm going to be a stand-up comic. To this day, the single biggest laugh I have ever gotten was out of the Pentagon.
Nice. It was just like Alex when I told him that I worked out. You should have seen him.
Oh my gosh, I died. I did.
Crying. Well, welcome, Liz, and thank you for being here and for your service and for everything that you do in the comedy community. You know, it takes people like you to keep people together, to keep things going, to keep that energy, you know, flowing within the community. And I think that that's what you do. So thank you.
I think for lack of better terms too, I mean, back to what I was touching on, women who do men's jobs, you just got to appreciate them so much more. I mean, I really do look up to them.
Oh, geez.
I had to go get my water.
You look good with red hair.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh, man. Have you guys watched sorry, I'm talking about all the things I watched because I haven't done anything else. I watched everything on Netflix, all that. I watched that that thing on Cecil Hotel. Have you ever heard about that? The Cecil Hotel in LA and all the killings and all that. There's rapes, murders, all kinds of weird stuff that happened there. The latest one was what they did it on Netflix was about this girl called Elisa Lam, and she was a Canadian student who moved to, or she visited here, stayed at the Cecil Hotel, and ended up dying. So all these web sleuths like are trying to figure out why, because it's, you know, it became a big case in the media, and you know, the internet just blew up. So we had these web sleuths that were trying to figure it out, trying to take the information from the media and process it and do their own investigations. And it turned out that in the process of being a web sleuth and trying to help to find out, you know, what happened to this dead woman, they ended up blaming somebody wrongfully, you know, and he had a career. I don't know if it was a career or not, but he was trying to do something in art, a music career, and it just tanked. They completely destroyed this guy. He ended up wanting to commit suicide, going into a mental hospital because he tried to kill himself. It looks like he stopped caring, probably drinking all the time. The guy looks horrible. But yeah, just because these web sleuths wanted to do the right thing for the right reasons, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, you know? So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because of this whole equality thing, you know? There's a lot of stuff. I think we talked about it before, Alex, how, you know, people just kind of react without thinking first, you know, what the complications may be of their actions. Yeah. And I just think, you know, with this topic of equality, you know, I just would love that my kids, my boys come up understanding, you know, that everybody's equal. Women can do the same thing men can do, if not better, you know. And I want my girls to grow up being powerful and strong, but fair as well, you know. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. You got anything, Alex?
Yes. There's this great show I don't care for animated programming too much, but there was a show on Netflix called Bojack Horseman, and it makes a mockery of Hollywood, and it had some great like special guests too, like Paul McCartney was on it and Henry Winkler and everything, but that's beside the point. So they had this one line one time. I mean, they make a mockery of everything, and it's to point out the hypocrisy that's on like both sides. So there was one episode where Keith Olbermann was the news anchor, and he had said the whole episode was about abortion and women's rights. And when he introduced the segment, he said, and now we bring in 3 old white men to discuss what a woman should be able to do with their body.
What?
It's making a mockery of the news. And then there was one episode where they talked about gun rights and how do we get sensible gun legislation. And what they came to, all these 70-year-old, and in the show it's all satire, all these 70-year-old men who are senators and congressmen all decided after it became legal for, or they had passed a law where only women can own guns. And then that's when all the men decided, okay, you know what, no more guns for anybody, just because the women have them now. So it's just like, I don't know what I was trying to say.
Well, that's pretty messed up, dude. I mean,
No, super messed up. And I think that was the point, was the hypocrisy and everything. Like, men can scream for equal rights and, oh, we're a champion for women too. And then when, it starts approaching, then they kind of back off. And it's definitely not right at all. And just like you said, I think women can be better. There's a lot of shit that I do really bad. So I'm not setting the bar too high. But I mean, I think a woman could definitely be better.
Yeah, definitely. Liz, what do you think about this whole topic?
One of the things I wish that people would consider, take the demographics out of any debate. One of the things that I used to ask, my compatriots, like, don't cite that, and we talk about this in the comedy scene. We've got young ladies who say, I hate being brought up as the female comic. I'm a comic, first and foremost. Judge me on being a comic. When I was in the military, you could judge me on being a military intelligence officer. You could judge me on being a commander. You could judge me on my rank. How do I fit that bill? In the comedy scene, judge me as a comic. What is my skill? Ignore the demographics that come with it. And some people say, no, you can't separate the demographics from the work. And that's a debate that our nation is having to have right now. Which comes first, the skill set or the demographics? And that's something that, everybody's got a different opinion on. But when it comes down to equal rights, can you do the job? As a comic, are you funny? Do you have charisma? Do people enjoy coming out and seeing the show? Do you bring something new and fresh to the scene? Do you have something to say? Can you make light of a dark situation? If the answer is yes, I don't care if you're male or female. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care any of that. Are you funny? That's what I'm looking at. Can you be funny? The whole thing of women aren't funny. I saw somebody wearing a t-shirt the other day that said men aren't funny. And I'm going, can we get over this and just bring out the funny comics already?
Yeah. Very good point. That is a good point. And with this whole focus on, equality and, we're trying to build up women, do you think there could be some kind of imbalance at some point, Liz?
I think we've seen imbalances. Looking at the education system, my last assignment in the military was as a professor at a university. I was the ROTC commander and a professor at a university. And you cannot advance your young ladies by beating down your young men. You cannot get equality by demolishing the young men. Once again, open the opportunities. When we had back in 1994, the early 90s, we had a debate about women in combat. Can women serve in combat? They finally ruled, yes, they can. You have to meet the standard.
Yeah.
if you can meet the standard, get your butts in here. We need you to fight a war. In comedy, can you meet the standard? Are you funny? Are you funny at the level of a host, an opener, a feature, a headliner? Are you a guest spot? Are you an open micer? Are you funny? What are you bringing to the craft? When I see things, and I do understand there is an argument made for, well, okay, and full disclosure here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm 5'10". I'm a black belt in ninjutsu. I'm an expert marksman. I realize my physical presence and background and training make it where I can go shoulder to shoulder with a lot of the guys, and I don't have that inherent fear of my personal safety. There are a lot of young ladies who don't have that background. There are a lot of young men who don't have that background. And is there a benefit to having a women's only mic for women who are physically scared of going out and having to deal with men? I've actually offered for both male and female comics, if you do not feel safe walking out to your vehicle, I will walk you out to your vehicle. And it's not just the young ladies, it's also the young men who, there's some of our comics on scene who come up to about my shoulder. And okay, are we considering the young men who may not be able to, take on a physical aggressor? It's a difference in thought. We used to think, oh, guys, they'll take care of themselves. But when I was stationed at Scott Air Force Base, it was the sexual assault response coordinator came out. There had been 4 sexual assaults, not on base, all in downtown St. Louis. All 4 were male on male sexual assaults with date rape drugs involved.
What?
And that was the eye opener for me. That our young men are facing the challenges too. We've going, let's look at the women. I would argue we also need to, while we're looking at the safety of young ladies, we also need to look at the safety of our young men. And we've got younger comics. We've got 18, 19, 20-year-old comics who may not have the life experience to know if they're walking into a bad situation. Can we do a safety cross-check for everybody? And not just ignore our young men while we're protecting the young ladies. Let's look at the young men as well.
And I think men shouldn't be embarrassed to take your help. Would I be embarrassed to take your help? Hell no, I'm scared of you right now and you're 50 miles away.
I know. I'm going to take you whenever I go up and I'm doing my
I know.
my hardcore set. Here, oh, Liz. Yeah. Take care of him, Liz.
But I think for so long, like what you said earlier, where it's, putting down one side to build up the other. Now it's kind of shifting. Now maybe men feel like they're being put down to build women up. But didn't we learn our lesson from before? Hey, it's taken women this long to try to get some sense of equality, right? So why are we going to repeat the mistakes of the past? I think we need to feel more comfortable as men to not, that's a perfect instance. You walking me to my car. There's going to be people who are like, oh, bitch.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's cuss word number 2, right. By the way. I will point that out.
Ding.
But there's going to be some people that say that, and I can't wait till we're in a time where there's not that attitude. That everybody should be treated as if we're on the same playing field.
Yep. I think it's coming soon. And, I had a joke about that as well, with the power that the women's movement is gaining. They're predicting an increase in cases of raped men, but I guess it never lands because it's true. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, Liz, I am taking you next time with me to an open mic if I'm going to start insulting the crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for the Jiggity Joke Session.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And today we've got Liz Frisius joining us. So she's going to take part of this. And we're going to get into the jokes right away. Liz, since you are our guest, you get to go first.
I grew up in a time when I thought the USA stood for equality, freedom, and unity. That's not how acronyms work. It just stands for United States of America.
Nice, nice. All right, all right. Alex, you are up, sir.
Who knew OnlyFans would be used for porn? I feel like I just paid a cyber pimp because my emailed confirmation started off with, "Yee, that's right. You better delete them cookies because we about to get encrypted up in this bitch."
All right. You're always on that sex thing, dude.
You made me cuss.
Oh, that's true. That's 3 times. I mean, all right, my turn. I am all for equal rights, but until a man can start sucking dick as good as a woman can, I don't think men deserve it.
Okay, you know what? We just had that whole talk.
Sorry, man. We're trying to get canceled, remember? All right. All right. Liz, you are up.
Whenever I hear a woman complain that their car insurance is higher because men are worse drivers, I think there's only one person to thank. That would be Amelia Earhart.
Nice.
What happened to her?
Amelia Earhart died, dude.
She had a male navigator with her.
Oh,
That's what we call a tag, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
wouldn't ask for directions.
oh, continuous tag.
Nice. All right, Alex, sir, you are up.
The stupid thing about people who love cats is how they associate cats with pussy. Like a cat lover would be like, "You gotta know what you're doing. I get that pussy wet and then I fuck it hard." I'm pretty sure cats don't do like either of those things. Trust me, I've tried.
They don't like either of those things. All right, who's next? Me?
Yeah.
My
Be
turn.
nicer this time. Be nicer.
You know, National Women's Day and National Dog Day fall on the same day this year.
Really?
Talk about a great day for bitches.
Okay. I told you to be nicer. You did.
Oh. All right.
So I want to know, when did the term bitch become masculine?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I would say it was the late 90s, early 2000s. All right. Alex,
Hey, which one are we talking about?
the Rock one. You want to do that one?
Okay. I took an oath to the Rock, so I don't think I'm allowed to do
That's
that
stupid.
one. I wish the douchebag president didn't vacate the White House and they sent the Rock to evacuate. The Rock would grab him by the pussy and say, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Because if you can't, you've got COVID."
Nice. Nice. Good one.
Thanks.
Good one. All right. My turn?
Yeah. I was going to say it's my turn, but I just did one. I'm a whore.
No, you got to remember, you're just a slut, unless you're getting paid for this. Whores get paid, sluts just do it for free.
Liz calls me a slut. My grandparents call me a bitch. When did that word become masculine?
Now, when did slut become masculine? You need to watch the Golden Girls episode. I trust you've seen the Golden Girls episode of the Grand Poobah of Slutdom.
I don't remember it, but I probably have.
Oh, you need to go back and watch that one.
All right. How about that one, Liz? I didn't number them.
No, thank you.
She's bowing out. All right.
No, thank you. I'll give you a COVID joke, but I'm not going to do that one.
All right, do it. Do a COVID joke.
I was actually out at the meteor crater recently, and this lady looks at me, and gentlemen, quit telling women that this is 8 inches? I'm a freaking football field away from this woman. She goes, excuse me, miss, you need to socially distance. Houston, we have a Karen. I said, lady, been there, had that, got the T cells. She says, what, you think this is a game? I said, well, what happens if it is? Because this is the way we catch COVID, catch COVID, catch COVID. This is the way we catch COVID until someone goes down. Oh, it's great for ages 8 and up, and a hell of a lot safer than the dodgeball I played as a kid.
Nice. Nice.
That was good.
All right. Alex, your turn. No. Yeah, your turn.
My favorite 2021 Super Bowl commercial was the dad whose superpower was being his kid's sweater. I remember that. That was the Jason Alexander one, huh?
Yeah.
I just didn't understand the scene where they zoomed in into a bottle of Jergens, then they zoomed out and the sweater was covered in snot.
Oh, what was he doing? He had his laptop.
He had a cold, obviously. We're in a pandemic.
Oh, right. He had COVID. Right. Jergens and COVID go hand in hand.
That's disgusting. Liz, I want you to read this one.
Judge Judy made $40 million last year, which begs the question. Think of how much money all those guy judges made.
Oh,
Oh.
that's true. Equal rights.
Equal rights, people.
Equal pay.
Learn how to negotiate better.
Thank you. No, I'm saying we need Judge Judy to make 60 million like all the guy judges did.
Oh, I figured all the guy judges made 20 million and they just needed to learn how to negotiate better.
They need a woman to negotiate.
Hey, let's face it. Who was it? Mae West was the highest paid member of the entire studio. She asked what the CEO made. And she said, my salary would be $1 more.
Damn, May.
Yeah. Like I said, learn to negotiate.
Queen Latifah is the equalizer now. Learn to negotiate.
All right. Whose turn? My turn?
Yeah, be appropriate, be nice, clean.
All right. My turn. I've always said that if a girl can call in sick because she's having period symptoms, that I should be able to call in sick because I get genital warts at least once a month.
I told you to be clean.
It's just truth, man. They're hard to get rid of. Besides, nobody cares about herpes anymore. It's that COVID pussy you don't want.
Okay.
Liz, thank you for being here today. Man, you added so much to this episode. We appreciate you. And
All right, and
Thank you guys for having me on.
where can they find you if they want to follow you?
You can find me on Facebook at Liz Frisius and also at liz-frisius.com.
Awesome. We'll check it out. All right, folks, and we'll put that on the link as well. All right, Liz, thank you for being here. Will you come back sometime?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you in the future.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you, Liz, again. Thank you for your service. I think the conversation was great tonight, and I do appreciate you coming on.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Good night. If you want to catch my comedy, I'll be performing at JP's Comedy Club in Gilbert, Arizona on Friday, March 5th at 9 p.m. You can go to jpscomedyclub.com to purchase tickets, or you can also find me at dondarriocomedy.com. There'll be more information up there as well. Hope to see you there. Thanks again for watching, folks. And remember, stay safe and have fun in life.
That's right. Everybody be happy, stay healthy, and don't forget to try everything twice.
Peace.